The unfinished business of the colonialism, the ancestral remains and the healing of the land, the Pitt River Museum, Oxford, England. They aim to be part of a social redress and the mending of social historical relationships. In order to portray cultural objects in an ethical sensitive manner, the Pitt Museum recognized that decolonizing of the museum and prioritizing reconciliation and co-curatorship with the communities is a matter of urgency. It was in the spirit of decolonization and healing that they started a dialogue and reflective journey with the Pitt Rivers Museum, as Naga anthropologists have the largest collection of the Naga culture material in the world, around 6,466 including human remains of our ancestors, with an atmosphere of openness, respect and the desire include Naga community members, elders, researchers, churches and civil societies through interviews and collaborative discussions. In 2020, a Naga research team was formed, comprising the Naga ancestral homeland working in partnership with the Pitt River Museum and started the initial phase of the project. Their aim is to address issues surrounding the repatriation of around 213 ancestral remains currently housed in the Pitt River Museum. Their description spread over numerous pages of Excel sheets provide a glimpse into the expansion of the machinations from the British Empire from conquering to administrating to collecting and to ruling. The process that remains undiminished and indeed unfinished is Naga anthropologists engaged in this introspective engagement of reparation and healing. We are aware that the process will generate deep emotions including grief and anger as well. Open historical trauma of the Naga nations. For more than 100 years museums across Europe have displayed Naga objects, exotic and primitive, taken away as souvenirs under duress during colonial expedition, a fact that exposes the harsh realities of imperialism. Their contemporary resonances. The Naga ancestral remains. The Naga ancestral remains collection in the Pitt Rivers Museum consists of human skull and bones and human hair attached to various cultural items including basketry, spears, shield and ornaments. The provenances of these remains is unclear. Some clearly state that they were confiscated by British administrators from Naga villages while others were taken as loot during the violence that ensued. The labels have limited information or explanation and much of people's histories and their encounters with colonialism have been undocumented. In fact, erased. For instance, one of the entries on a Naga skull has the following obscure description: trophy skull of a Konyak woman. This had been taken by Hutton, a British administrator, when the village was burnt by the government March 1922. Central T. The partnership between the Pitt Rivers Museum and Naga research team had shared vision to decolonize dominant frames of knowledge and recognized the violence of colonialism as they continue explanatory research and dialogue. They learnt how the meant decoloniality involves recognizing the Naga history as one of the colonization and loss. Indeed, the Naga people will have a remarkable opportunity to reflect on the future of their ancestral remains in the Pitt Rivers Museum and other museums in Europe and beyond. In 1865, an article in the Pioneer justified British rule over these savage tribes because they were a danger cause of tea. While the lucrative tea route had to be protected at all costs, it also allowed the British to engage in civilizing missions. This included inviting the American Baptist Foreign Mission Society 1971 to 1955, who were in Myanmar missionarizing the Karen people, to enter the Naga Hills and begin the process of conversion. Thus started the colonial strategy of the Bible and the flag Christian conversion alongside steady territorial gains, so that by around 1912 the Naga Hills district became a province of Assam. This period of British colonialism was particularly violent. There were numerous military raids to suppress the recalcitrant, including burning villages as collective punishment and the loss of lives. Mention the vast troves of material culture burnt into the embers of history. When British colonial power was largely consolidated, visual depictions often portrayed the Nagas as exotic but now tamed under the rule of the British Raj, who were viewed as humane, orderly and enlightened. Historically, the proliferation of image of the Naga countrymen filled the British imagination with depictions of the frontiers of the empire. According to Andy Westbrook, museums,